I'm a hustler. I'm an entrepreneur. Whatever I don't have, whatever is taken away from me that God don't want me to have, I'm gonna get back.
There have been some new developments in Kevin Hunter's unfortunate life, and it appears that the former member of the Bank of Wendy may be heading to prison. However, there is some good news for Kevin because he has obtained a significant legal victory against the Wendy Williams show. Most of you are already familiar with the narrative, but I'll give you a quick review so you understand the current position. And there is so much to unpack, child, since this situation is a hot, stinking disaster. To be honest, Kevin Hunter has only himself to blame for whatever has happened to him. It's incredible to watch how he went from being Wendy's husband, having a beautiful life as a prominent producer on one of the most popular talk shows, to now being homeless, in terrible debt, and facing major legal issues. Miss Karma, I swear, never plays and reaps exactly what you sow. And we already know that the most of it is related to whatever he put Wendy through with his lover, Sharena Hudson. Kevin wanted to bite more than he could chew, despite Wendy's liberal allowance, because he was the one who caused Wendy to have a nervous breakdown by getting his side piece pregnant. I couldn't call my mother, father, or sister. They would have simply said, leave, leave, leave. But I'm still in love, I'm at a loss on what to do. Are you serious about this? This is truly taking off. Wendy, as we all know, eventually decided to file for divorce after this and trust. She decided to exact her vengeance on Kevin first. And she made certain that he was sacked from his position as producer of The Wendy Show on the same day she filed him with divorce papers in order to get her lick back at him. I don't advocate working with your husband because I made him my manager if you make it. He had to be dismissed after I decided to divorce him. I divorced him and made him unemployed all in one day. He was unemployed after being fired from the program, which was a terrible thing because Sharena was also unemployed and they were expecting a child. However, Kevin had a brilliant method to obtain alimony payments for Wendy. We don't know how much he was able to extract from Wendy, but we do know it was a substantial sum. It was more than enough money for him and Sharena to live in luxury and comfort without having to work. Kevin didn't think too far ahead, and he continued to live off of alimony without making any investments or savings. When Wendy's show was canceled, the alimony payments halted, and it wasn't long before he lost everything and became bankrupt. He felt quite entitled to Wendy's money at first, and he gave multiple interviews in which he asserted things like, Wendy was in recovery, and these folks suddenly stopped depositing my money cold turkey. Now I'm demanding to examine all bank records from the divorce to the present, which will reveal what's actually going on. These folks have attempted to starve me. At the end of the day, I earned that money, and I'm not going to give it to them. But then he realized he and his lawyers had screwed up the alimony payments. So no matter what sob tale he told, he was not going to collect any of her money. Wendy's lawyers were wiser than his, and they incorporated a clause indicating that if Wendy ever left the Wendy Show, she would no longer pay him alimony, because he says he was the brains behind the Wendy Show and was due to some remuneration. The clause stated that if Wendy's contract with Talkivo is not renewed and or is otherwise suspended, canceled, or terminated, and Wendy does not have any other television show airing and paying her an equivalent salary, defendant aka Kevin understands and agrees that all severance payments are subject to either termination or modification. I'm not sure how Kevin's lawyers missed that, but he signed the contract, and as soon as he discovered how badly he screwed up, he shifted from being entitled to apologizing and publicly begging Wendy for help, claiming he was broke and on the point of losing everything. He stated, I've fallen behind on the majority of my bills. Wendy's failure to make payments under our settlement agreement has had a significant impact on my life. The fact that I am unable to maintain my life and pay my debts is tremendously pressing for me. I am unable to pay my payments and maintain my standard of living. When that failed to persuade Wendy to pay up some cash to get him out of this issue, he attempted to sue her for money, and he received a lot of flack for it since supporters felt he needed to acquire a job instead of begging his ex-wife for handouts. But it was all for naught because the judge dismissed his case, which was unsurprising given his lack of a compelling case to begin with. To make matters worse, he and Sharina hadn't been prudent with their money, as they fell bankrupt nearly soon after Wendy's checks stopped coming in. People first assumed that Kevin and Sharina would stick together since they genuinely loved and cared about each other. I mean, their affair lasted around 10 or 11 years before Sharina became pregnant and Wendy filed for divorce. So they've been together for approximately 15 years. But Sharina wasn't into the broke life, and she dipped and dumped him. According to a random item, a talk show presenter is having a good chuckle somewhere out there. Her chronic cheating/stealing ex split up with his mistress. She was blowing too much of his stolen money. Sources also confirmed to Patty Johnson, a blogger, that Sharina had left Kevin and moved back in with her mother. Now I'm hearing that her ex-husband Kevin and Sharina are no longer together, which you already know. So come on now. The money has vanished. What? The money has vanished. The money has vanished. Not only that, but Sharina is allegedly intending to sue Kevin for child support, and it appears like she will be wiping him out shortly. This brings us to the present predicament. Kevin has numerous pressing legal difficulties, but he is on the verge of bankruptcy and may be on his way to jail as a result of them all. I'm not sure if you recall, but earlier this year it was reported that Kevin was deeply in debt. As a result, Kevin was served with a lawsuit by UBS Bank for failing to pay his credit card bill. According to court documents, UBS Bank told defendant, among other things, that he had defaulted under the terms of the agreement, and that the outstanding balance owing under the account had been accelerated in letters dated January 23, 2023, and March 1, 2023. As a result, UBS Bank seeks judgment against the defendant for an amount to be determined at trial, but not less than $20,176.83. Costs of the complaint, including attorney's fees, and any other and further relief that the court considers just and equitable. So, if he doesn't pay, you already know what's going to happen. It was recently discovered that he sold his Florida mansion where he used to reside with Sharina in an attempt to offset his debt. But the transaction allegedly did not cover his debt, and creditors, including the bank, are now demanding payment. I should also mention that he took out a loan for his 2 fancy cars. He also sold another residence he purchased after Wendy divorced him. And it appears that he has nowhere to call home, honey. Being homeless, in debt, and involved in court proceedings is the stuff of nightmares. But there is some hope for him because his claim against Denmark Mercury, the production company behind Wendy Williams' show, has been approved for trial. So Kevin sued the production firm, saying that they fired him unfairly and that he should be compensated for his troubles. Kevin believes he contributed significantly to the show's success. He admitted to being the man behind popular segments like Hot Topics and Wendy's Shoe Cam, and that he was the one who chose the visitors and devised marketing strategies to improve ratings. He also accused the producers of breaking upcoming York law by planning to use numerous components from Wendy's show on their upcoming talk show with Sherry Shepherd. Kevin alleges he was fired from the show, not because he was not performing his duties correctly, but because he divorced, which is prohibited in New York. The producer did file a move to dismiss the lawsuit, but it was denied by the court, and Kevin will now face a trial. According to Kevin's attorney, Mr. Hunter is pleased that the court denied Wendy's producer's motion to dismiss and that he will eventually see his date in court. Mr. Hunter was essential in making Wendy Williams' show a success before it was canceled, and the only reason he was fired was because his marriage to Wendy was ending, nothing depending on the quality of his performance. But the internet isn't feeling sorry for him, with comments like, "Boy, that karma hits." I'm not sure why some individuals believe karma does not rotate the block. Maintain your morals. That's exactly what he gets. His karma arrived quickly. He followed Wendy out because he thought the grass was greener on the other side, and now he's not with the side woman either. Good karma. Is there an age limit for joining Job Corps? because he is currently homeless, unemployed, and unskilled, and pulpees and churches are both